Hi everyone, this is Ryan Pletch with Paperblade, SB, and LG for the Resurgence Mafia postgame.
Yay.
Yep.
Hello.
I won this game.
I tried to get a Mafia member, but none of them are around right now, so suck it nerds. SB's your representative for Anti-Town.
I mean, I was practically working with the Mafia for half the game.
You were. So,
I mean, you were more competent than the whole Mafia.
Haha.
so first of all, I want to start off talking with the roles in order, except for starting with the Joker, which I put last on the spreadsheet for some reason. Anyway, that was like the first role I made for the setup, so let's start with it. It was made because I didn't want to give a normal SK again, and I wanted to have unreliable ways of killing people, but with big potential. And also, it was fairly investigative immune. Didn't show up on the cop because I did cough as Mafia or not Mafia, which I think I usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good practice. You don't even have to throw in like, oh, you're investigative immune, and also lets the Mafia find him and work with them.
And kill
Or try to
Or just
kill
kill
them, yeah. Night
Right.
one. As it went.
After I told Warrain I was negative utility, they shot me anyway.
Yeah. Story checks out. Well, they thought it was, that comes for later, but they thought it was because they thought you were town, and they thought you were, like, your reads were too good.
Too funny.
Because scum was too scummy.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I don't think I changed this role a ton, except for mostly gave it, like, buffs, like the kills fail, except for the first one, which basically just couldn't fail, like, completely, and that one thing would have to be blocked, no matter what. I made it so that I vanillized the target, which basically so, like, I could get rid of, like, rolls still, but even if the person didn't actually die. And, man, this roll's the best. It had all the shit from The Dark Knight. SB, have you watched it yet?
No, it's on my desk. I just haven't had time because
God, you suck.
shit.
You're not missing much.
No, it's a good movie.
What do you mean? Dark Knight's the best.
Dark Knight Rises is the only good one, because it's full of memes.
That's why I gave you that roll as paper.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Yes, SB was in the... Yeah.
my opinion on the role was like, I needed control of my kill night 5, I felt like. Because I had very limited actual control unless I talked to the Mafia, which, like, I did.
Yeah,
Because
but that was intended, because...
I think it's, like, weird to say, like, oh, you're investigator immune, but you also don't really do anything. It's kind of like, how is town meant to find me? But also, like, what am I supposed to do to them? It's kind of just like, I'm there, mulling, for, like, all game.
I guess so.
Yeah, the town leaders gave you a lot of info for, like, I don't know why.
No reason.
I think most of it was reasonable, except for when Prims randomly told me 6 people who didn't take action night 1. Yeah.
What?
Apart from that, it was, yeah. So that helped me narrow down power rolls, and honestly, if I hadn't misread my roll PM, I probably would have wiped... I might have wiped, like, Mick night 3 or something instead.
Yeah, you misread the except for the first one part on the...
To be fair, it's a long-ass roll PM.
It is long. It's like twice as long as the next longest roll, I think, which is Jin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was a cool roll. I'm glad I made it. It was really flavorful.
Yeah. I mean, like, when me and Ellie were talking, we were really kind of confused about, like, what the role was because the kills were staggered and shit, so we didn't really get what it was. So it was kind of helpful for confusion.
That was part of the purpose, too. It was like, as opposed to, oh, well, there's clearly an SK in this game with all the multiple kills. It's like, what the hell is happening?
We were wondering if, like, the Mafia had a Vig or something, and there was no third. It was weird. It was bad.
Well, they
I
did.
think my role should have had like instead of the commute, like a BPV and like an odd night. Well, like move the inspect to odd night and a hook on even because I couldn't really do much to rolls on my own even if I found them.
That probably would have been better.
Probably. But I don't know. I don't think it was too bad of a role. It was interesting, and I'm glad I tried it.
It was interesting, just kind of hard to accomplish anything with.
That's fair. Alright, well, we could talk about that role all day,
Yeah.
and I don't have that much time.
Card flip enforcer.
Yeah, card flip enforcer. So my first thing that I should have done was I didn't think about this because I never even bothered with saying the flip rules in my thing, but I should have said that it was card flip in the opening post of the game because I like didn't mention it, and then Prims asked me about it. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna lie to him about it. I'm like, yeah, this game's card flip. He like asked me about it on day one, and so I didn't think about that because I don't think I've ever done a card flip game in my life until this one, and so I never bothered putting it in my opening post before, but I would have done that. Other than that, I thought it was a fun thing to try out, even though possibly could have had more indicative role names, because basically it kind of left out the people who didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Basically, everybody got janitor.
Yeah, it was...
Unless you already have the claims.
Yeah. So that part was a little not fun for some people.
It would have really fucked me over if
It would have been
I
really
did
funny if
everything.
it would have been really funny if you died before that role, and then everyone's like, okay, so what did this guy do exactly?
Clown Fiesta.
That would have been fun, but didn't happen that way.
Gravedigger's
I didn't
a
have-
good role.
Gravedigger, yeah, it's like good, decently fake claimable role. I think that role had a cool fake claim of being able to claim Mortician.
I think it should have just claimed the Mortician because the way the restriction on Gravedigger was just like this role's a Mafia role. It can't take kills. And
Yeah,
that's like
That's true. Maybe so. Although Mortician's like not particularly a powerful role.
it's powerful in card flip, I think.
Kinda.
Anyway.
Next, Virgil. He's back. He's Mafia this time. Full-time motivator. So that led to some fairly good interaction. So the best interaction the Mafia had, basically, was the motivator could be used on either the decoy or the tailor to basically tailor 3 people on the Mafia team and make them show up as innocent.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good, and that's kind of why I just left in a standard cop, because I'm like, Mafia has the tools to possibly deal with this, especially if they like find out.
Them can be like tailored, then I don't think a regular cop is an issue. If they have the power to like 3 out of 5, that's really strong.
Yeah, like regular tailor is just like, oh, you keep one guy, one guy
like
safe.
Godfather, basically.
Yeah, Dr. Sid was a Godfather, and Paper's like, so you want 4 of the Mafia Knights investigating you? And I'm like, well, probably not. And also, Taylor doesn't usually work on himself, but because the Mafia had the decoy, they could...
Shield the tailor.
Yeah, they could shield the tailor, and so that it would be redirected onto the decoy. And so basically, Mafia had a lot to go against the role, and that's why. But Motivator basically allows for like, that was the main use of the Motivator, I think. Although you could use it with the roll cops for extra information, that's definitely not a bad use of it. And I gave it the even night safe claim because I thought
they want to use
Motivator. Yeah, they want to use it without telling everyone exactly what it does. It didn't work out in this game because Marth got tracked, but I didn't think that... I thought that also just sounded outrageously fake to just call it full-time motivator.
It was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, if he
It didn't work out, bro.
If he claims full-time motivator, like, He doesn't have anything to actually do for the Mafia, because he always has to target who the
All he's
village
doing is
tells
sit
him.
there and target what
Yeah,
leader
that's
says.
why I said even night.
Yeah.
That was the logic behind that. But anyway, I think it was a decent roll, not really that exciting, obviously, and obviously can't motivate kills. I don't think I let Mafia basically get any way of extra kills except for the one roll that they already had for it, because I thought that could get out of hand if, they were grave digging kills, motivating, like even the Night 4 action. Obviously, I'm not going to let them motivate the factional kill.
That was reasonable.
So next, Barkley, the decoy or martyr. I like decoy as a name better.
I'd argue, but we don't have the time for that. I thought this role was like probably meant to be town, but then Shinori flipped and I'm just like,
I was a town roll, and then I made it a mafia roll. That's actually true of the next roll also.
Yeah.
Minus the ninja part. And so Green Poet didn't claim the BPV part of the fake claim,
Which was good.
which I think is reasonable. But that was what the whole point of it was as a town roll, was that it was a BPV decoy, so it was like pseudo doctor, but not like that good.
I think that's better than a doctor because it's basically an Omni Guard.
Yeah, well, until you die, because it's one shot BPV, obviously.
You got to die twice.
Yeah, but it's like a side grade, I guess, because as opposed to doctor just doesn't stop filling.
So yeah.
I put the roll cop on there. That was on Edna at first, and Paper's like, why would anyone ever want to motivate anyone except for this target? I'm like, oh, that's kind of a good point. And turns out that was probably good for the Mafia when
Walrein
died almost instantly.
Deserved.
So, I wanted the Mafia to have like some form of not just getting instantly murdered if Joker tried to target them.
Yeah.
So that was part of the role of the PPV there. Next one, Jin, the 4-night sequencing check. So night 1 numbers, night 2 Fallen Voyeur, night 3 Watcher and Tracker, and night 4 Hitman Ninja Kill. So as I said before, this was actually a town roll at first, but I decided it'd be more fun for the Mafia. Just to put it on there, give them a bonus kill. And add Ninja on night 5 onwards, because, I don't know. I didn't want it to be completely vanilla, but it maybe didn't necessarily need it.
I thought this roll is strong as fuck, considering, like, it's an extra kill.
Yeah, it might have been
But most of the Mafia died before it, so...
Yeah.
Like it went off in the first place.
It used to its potential because the other rolls were already dead.
Yeah, I think it's probably like the second best, either best or second best Mafia roll, probably.
Yeah.
Behind card flip, yeah.
Yeah, and then I had a Taylor, I guess.
Yeah, just about.
And then the other two are pretty close. They work together pretty well, so hard to say which one's better. And then, so that's what I went for that. And then the fake claim was just the first part of the roll, except for Ninja. Junko claimed this roll a little weirdly in practice, I guess. But
he messed up his fake claim. He claimed something different to Prim's.
He claimed the Vig.
He did that on purpose. He didn't want to do that.
I told him to claim differently.
Yeah. And, I mean, LA probably wasn't going to believe him. It's like, oh, wait, I'm the Vig here.
Michaela had the sheet, but yeah.
And last, at least, the Taylor, which we kind of already talked about. It worked well with the motivator and decoy, and
it got shit on.
Yeah, it died instantly. But good roll in the setup. Like, you can mess with cop.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know there's going to be a cop if you have a Taylor, so that you can use that for. I mean, if it works out, you can use it to like block known top targets, save your own guys, especially with the motivator and decoy. But and then I also threw the role blocker on there because Mafia should have one generally in OC games to interfere with things. So I just stapled it on basically. Okay, the fake clamp for this role is really bad, but that was kind of intentional.
Yeah.
And it was also a nice joke back to Bass Mafia 1, which was really funny because Marth was on the Mafia team and he had that role.
Right. So
yeah. Overall, I think the Mafia was pretty powerful. I think
it was the strongest faction.
I think it was close, but I think Mafia had the strongest overall roles.
Town might have been slightly stronger. They would have been stronger if they actually knew how the question asker worked.
Yeah, that's probably true. We'll get to that one. But I think the Mafia, I don't know, it didn't have that much exciting roles. Card Flip Enforcer was pretty different. General was pretty different out there. I keep giving Mafia numbers for some reason. I don't really know why, but it's kind of funny. And it's a decent fake clan. So that moves us on to the last faction, the Town. Going in the order on the sheet, that was basically projected roll strength, and obviously I undersold one roll on there a little. But I do think, I will say that I still think that Vicious, the Vengeful Davig, was probably still a better roll, just because I had 2 possible kills on a townie.
Potential kills.
I think the roll was broken, should have been off town, and Ellie went full Ellison. And
did not claim the Davig at any point for no reason, but we'll get to that after.
Cop is cop. That's it.
Cop's cop. I was fine with a full, just standard Alliance cop. Fails on Joker, but otherwise some Mafia. Had tools to mess with this. It's just a fine roll. Not hard to get too excited over cop, but it's a good roll. No complaints there. Ocelot, the jailer. So I did not want to give the Town a full-time doctor along with their full-time cop. For very obvious reasons. So what I did, I put the roll blocker on there because basically I wanted to, if you wanted to protect someone, you need to make a choice. Or you could roadblock Mafia, suspected Mafia members.
Yeah.
But you had to give up potentially using a powerful roll if you wanted to save them. And also, when used on the Joker's kills, it would prevent them from using their roll that night. And then also they would usually lose their roll from there on.
I thought this roll, honestly, is probably stronger than the cop in context of my roll existing, with how broadcasted it is. Stopping guaranteed kills,
The poisons and the
That's a fair point.
It's pretty nutty.
That's a fair point. I think it was necessary for the setup, though, because it was...
Yeah, it was necessary.
The only consistent protection in the entire town. Except for... Well, the next protective role is the next role, which was Hilda, the rotating jack of all trades, went tracker, watcher, doc, and then repeated. Specifically in order to, limit what it can do, but it's in a decently favorable order. Tracking early, then watcher, then doctor. But, obviously it's still worse than if you could choose how to do it and then just got your shots back.
Yeah, Kurt got 3 Mafia. Broken roll, in my opinion.
I'm not sure that's necessarily how that worked out, but yeah, I think this was a good roll.
It was definitely good.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, it was pretty interesting to have a fixed method jack instead of you have a Vega, doc, and a cop. Wow, these are all broken rolls. And probably why we haven't seen that variant of jack in a long time. But, this roll was actually completely different. I changed it kind of last minute. I made it less swingy by doing it this way. It basically got powers based on who visited it instead. It was these 3 rolls. And it could get one-shot versions, but I was like, that can just lead to bad things
That
based
sounded
on
dumb.
Yeah,
who, like, if you just keep,
mass targeting it.
yeah, mass targeting it. I was like, that's just gonna lead to some bullshit. So I just made
Right.
it this instead. And so, even though it was a kind of last minute claim, change. I think it worked fine in the setup.
Okay.
Which brings us to Jace the Mind Sculptor. Who could have predicted Jace the Mind Sculptor being overpowered?
Hmm.
And this is definitely the role I regret the most because it turns out, even though I made it like I like didn't put it in the original role PM, so I told LG, don't do bullshit questions, man. I'm not letting you be censor, which he asked about on like night 4. I'm like, I'm still not letting that through.
Made me do that. I take no blame for that.
Yeah,
But like, question
Right.
answer is just too open-ended. It's too broken. You can do so much with it. We basically made it a second comp once we figured out what the fuck we were doing. And
yeah.
If you want
Yeah.
to put a question asker in your role, make it Mafia. That's all.
If you want to put a question asker in your game, don't.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
That's the lesson I learned from this. I don't think I've ever even considered putting one in. I'm like, hey, maybe this weird restriction. Oh no, it's still a little too good not to. But that's definitely the biggest regret for me was having a question asker.
I think I'd rather play a game with an unannounced fool than a question asker.
we used the action
That's-
really badly too. Like the first 2 nights were just subpar questions compared to what I did the rest of the game.
Yeah, but anyway, not putting that one in any of my future setups.
I definitely made you ask worse questions than possible too, so I didn't lose the game immediately.
Yeah,
I had input on a bunch of the questions.
Yeah.
Levi really wanted to ask a question about you, I think, and we asked about like somebody else instead. I have to check my actions to see who it was. I can't exactly remember.
Yeah, I didn't list you can't really like check this because I didn't really list them that well on
Right.
here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna check my role PM real quick.
Yeah. Next, while you're doing it, next was Emperor Palpatine, the mayor.
Oh,
Whose
no,
Name you spelled wrong.
Oh no,
No.
you didn't. Never mind.
No, I didn't. What the?
I missed it.
Right. Mayor and then 2-time Persuader. So basically this rule was like, I don't know, it's like pretty standard, but I put in the Persuader for, so basically it worked a little better in like endgame scenarios where it got to. And
Best play for this role is just to never vote, and then screw Mafia when they think they have piracy.
yeah, it was like extremely obvious that there was a mayor
Yeah,
at,
This roll
Some-
was really strong in general just because of the 2 times persuade, which you could just hold on to for most of the game.
It
yeah,
was like having effective 4 votes in
Yeah.
whenever you wanted it.
Lilo, and I didn't disable in Lilo. I know some people disable their mayor and Milo.
I think
Lilo.
that's only good in
Put the
knock.
cop out there. Like you have to play with the mayor in the setup. If you
Yeah,
just
I think
put it
that's
on
good in-
Milo, it just does nothing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. I think it's good in NOC, yeah. But I think in the context of OC, it's just fine to have it enabled.
I think it's fine in knock if you know what you're doing, but
Yeah.
you know,
I meant like the disable or whatever, or the
Yeah, yeah.
persuader also. But yeah, it was a pretty good rule. Not the most exciting. Okay, next is Vegeta, and this is where I start putting in a bunch of like random negative utility shit
Yeah.
on town. Also, so I did a lot of things that were like kind of redundant on purpose, just to like throw off like. Surely Ryan wouldn't put in Aesthetic Safeguard and a Macho on the town, and I just
and a
did.
commuter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I heard
Yeah, that-
like Refa is an aesthetic, I was kind of like, well, I'm going all in and just fucking claiming and praying Ryan didn't dick me.
No, it was the Mafia who dicked you.
Yeah.
But I put on the one-shot delayed Vig, and as, you know, a way to just give town, like, well, first of all, so this role isn't completely shit, but also it was just like a way, like,
It was good town leader material, I think.
yeah, decent.
Disposable.
Yeah, disposable still had something to do.
Mhm.
Couldn't be rollboxed, so there was that. And I didn't want to put all the towns like killing shit on Vicious, so I had some nice utility there. Obviously, killing is good. Town actually ended up using this role pretty badly in the context of the game because basically they wasted the shot. They almost killed LG and had to jail him so that he wouldn't die, and then also they had to use the jail on that and didn't have it available for other shit.
For Prims.
Yeah. Speaking of Prims, Dutch Schaefer, Jungle Hunter, it was like numbers tracker and watcher instead of actually finding out the target or who targeted them. It was pretty decent catching out the fake claims, actually, for basically like even night motivator. I guess it worked on Edna if they did the kill. And
yeah, I mean, like, that kind of role is like an idiot check for the Mafia. Like, if their plan is good enough, then they won't get caught by it. But if they mess up somewhere, this role can catch them.
Yeah, it's not super good, but it has
it was
decent usefulness. It was not a completely bad role, but it was one of the more expendable town roles.
Yeah.
And Prims identified that.
Speaking of expendable, here's the safeguard.
Yeah, here's the safeguard.
Which Bucket Lynch night one and then...
Yeah, didn't block a lot. Was part of why it was kind of...
I poisoned him.
Blocked the roll blocker.
He wasn't, but he would have ended up cleared because of the master anyway.
Yeah.
That flipped.
Yeah, pretty much. But it had I don't... Safeguard that just makes the target aesthetic is such a fucking awful role, and I kind of can't believe we didn't do just like, it stops negative actions for such a long time. Cause
I think it kind of compromises like the shit you can put your setup though, because like if you put a safeguard, you can't put a dock, you can't put a warship. I feel like
that's fairly true. Well, I didn't put either of those in this game, and I made it block the jailer also similarly.
Yeah,
because that'd be a little unfair of an interaction. Now we get to the real good shit. Rocky, the macho rogue, as if rogue is already not a bad enough role, and then the only reward was that it got a one-shot hijack, which is a decent reward, but for a lot of work. And yeah, I mean, at this point, I was not trying to give the town more good roles. Like
this was a fairly unlucky role, PM.
Yeah. Proto didn't claim part of it, and that screwed Snake. But it was not meant to be a good role in the first place. And then we get to Rockhawk, Town Silencer, greatest role of all. It says target can still vote via PM on the sheet, which I know it was like target can still vote in thread was what I actually did, but they just can't post other shit. And I mean, not a big difference.
Powerful role.
Yeah, basically the actually one of the rare things this role actually did was it actually made it so Vicious couldn't use the ability if it targeted Vicious for whatever reason instead of idling literally all game, as it should have. Because I mean, that was obviously just a joke roll, and
Rockhawk.
Basically no reason, yeah. But at least it had the best role name, Feral Nuclear Reactor.
That's pretty badass.
How can you just go wrong with a role titled that? Anyway, it was obviously negative utility, and I put it in there on purpose.
So, the actual
I like
15
shitty...
minutes.
Yeah. Well, we can run through flips, I guess.
Day one, Prims hijacked town, and that happened.
Yep.
Yeah, basically, Snake had unfortunate claim matched with not the best play, but also Proto kind of fucking screwed him with like claiming the wrong role. It's like claiming to GP for no reason in the first place was not the strongest play available necessarily.
I think it's
Yeah.
the most proto play available.
It's
Yeah.
very proto.
Is definitely that.
He had to get a replacement for
Proto.
K.
Yeah. I thought Snake was Town, and then pretended I didn't, in case he was Mafia.
Nice.
Yeah.
That
I don't
was
think
the most
anyone
interesting
else-
thing.
I don't think anyone else in town was just like, what happened here? How did this happen? And he died. And then the next death was actually the next day. It was Walrein.
Those assholes tried to kill me, and
Yeah.
they claimed they visited me.
Plain
Fucking
visited.
karma.
What I don't understand about this was he claimed that his visit succeeded, which is why he got lynched, because obviously nothing would succeed on you.
Yeah.
I mean, claiming it failed when the other stuff went through is just kind of either they thought you were protected, or they just, I don't know. I mean, which is fair, but that's
They
kind of making
didn't
us.
know SB. They didn't know SB's claim though, did they? They didn't know.
No, they didn't know SB's role for a while.
They knew I was negative utility.
But you know,
Oh.
and basically he got lynched because of saying that the role was
Yeah.
because that he succeeded as opposed
Yeah.
to he failed, which was what actually he got in his result. He
It's
failed.
also low-key compromised GP because they actually knew about her interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, that was like
Walrein-
the one questionable. That was pretty questionable, and then Warren was kind of dead, and he didn't really dead talk much. Marth did as
yeah.
Well, we'll get to Morris. Next is Prims, who I would say is town MVP. To be honest, he got so much shit done for the town. Like even though not everything worked out, but he basically coordinated the actions so that 3 of the
Yeah.
Mafia members got caught. Basically, 3 of them should have died before he did, except for Ellison didn't Davig.
I think he also
And-
got like 3 townies killed though with leaking info to me. So it's like
Yeah, but 3 times
overall
for 3.
good, but
Yeah,
Close
3
to
times for
fun.
3 Mafia is a good trade. I would make it any day of the week as town.
yeah.
I mean, his play wasn't perfect, but that was probably. I mean, that's probably his worst mistake was like information.
good
But
job.
overall, he was a pretty effective town leader, and
No, like I feel like actions were pretty good for the town overall, but like the flow of info kind of got messed up along the way, which made it kind of iffy late game.
that's definitely true. There was definitely some miscommunication going on there.
where's my team?
So, speaking of miscommunication, there went. Actually, that's not really related at all. But Mark just died because he got tracked.
Oh,
And-
funny thing about Mirth. Alright, you know when Walrein claimed day one about getting the SK to contact? Yeah,
Yeah.
I like troll claimed to him, like pretending to be town.
Yeah,
and said,
pretending to be
like-
town, making escape. They totally bought it. It was really funny, actually. But
But, until I said I inspected Mirth and he's the inspector.
yeah,
And then I sent it to Prims like
they totally bought the fake thing. Is what they totally like. Oh, he's clearly town, not SK. Is what I meant.
Alright. Yeah, it was pretty funny. And then Mirth died.
Yeah,
I thought
Seriously.
Mirth, like, play-wise, was probably, like, the second best Mafia anyway. But,
yeah. And Mark did a lot of helpful stuff for them when they were dead. He made a couple confusing plays, but overall it was mostly that he got tracked, that he died, and he didn't do too badly overall. Can't really fault him on it too badly.
yeah. So,
Uh,
this was the triple kill.
Yeah, night 3 was when 3 people died.
This was when
Right.
I actually contacted the Mafia, and we
Yeah.
killed the shit out of them. This happened because Refa told me GP was Mafia.
Ah. I didn't
Which
know
was
that
like-
because people didn't send me logs, but
It was a reasonable thing to do in case, like, let's say 3 townies died overnight and they lost spreadsheet.
the only 2 people who were really good at sending me logs were Prims, and actually JB was extremely good about logs. Current
I
is
just-
JV.
I just told you shit.
Yeah, you told me shit, but that's not as good as having logs. And you had your sheet, and then but Prims gave every log that he had during the game in like a, I guess not a timely fashion because he did it after he died, but he at least gave me them as opposed to some people. I badgered the Mafia at some point, but I don't think anyone else gave me logs unprompted except for him and JB. And
Okay.
even then, after some prompting, most people didn't bother. But, so first death of that knife was Rifa, who was, I think, along with, this is also a Prim's comment, I guess, he was too eager to use the Vig Night 1. I think that should have at least waited for Night 2 when they had, because it was one shot, like, it's
I
way
think-
easy to,
Yeah, that's
Messed
just
it
bad
up.
play.
I think they wanted to prove the role more than use it as a Vig.
That's just stupid,
Yeah.
though. That's
That's
still
just-
not.
Using
I don't
a
think
big
Vig's
it's
target-
valuable,
It's that.
and they had to, they basically occupied 3 roles to not suicide kill an obvious townie. Or, well, I
Yeah.
guess not obvious.
I
Kind of people
wasn't
didn't
obvious
believe.
until I got the result of Wallen's flavor name before he flipped, so
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, not obvious at the time, but it was...
it was a bad play though. I mean, like, jumping the gun on that night 1 is pretty risky.
Yeah,
So,
night
like,
one.
not
Especially
that
when
reward.
I was
This
clear to
wasn't like
Rifa,
a
it's
rough
like,
drive.
if you miss it, you still lose your shot. Unless it... Okay, so it lost it if the roll died the night he used it, it didn't lose it, but as long as it went through completely on the first night, then it was fine.
Time to go,
Yeah.
Yeah, the first night wasn't like really much of an action. It was just like I am declaring that I will use this action the next night. So it wasn't like I think it was role blocked, but literally nothing else. It wasn't relevant to like visiting at
Yeah.
all.
So,
Then I don't know. Reef
Okay.
played pretty good. Other than that, I guess he
yeah.
he was good with the information, and then it kind of stopped from there because he left it with. He gave it with Kirsch and Mikolar, and then Kirsch also died.
And me. Yeah. The
Yeah.
thing is, we had the perfect storm of gathering information in that I
Well,
knew
did you have the
second
actual?
roles.
You didn't have the actual town sheet, did you?
No, but I
No. Well, those are the people who
I
had
knew
the.
enough.
the Mafia inspected Kirsch, right?
Yeah.
And I knew that Kirsch had been copped
Yeah.
and had caught stuff, so we were able to kill basically what we thought was the entire town leadership because I thought Shinori was the cop. I don't remember anything Shinori did, and he died because I thought he was cop.
Yeah. I mean, he was not the most active. He used his role in.
I'll say about my kill choices for the first few nights. Yeah, I did the Green Cat's Mikolar thing because I thought they were both town that people might not bother saving because I didn't know the roles or anything, and I thought
Yeah.
it would give the Mafia a free kill if they actually protected them, and they used it on me, fuckers.
Yeah. They were like a little delayed, but Mikolar wasn't too bad. He could have definitely communicated a little better, but overall, I think he was probably did one of the best among the new players. Bartosio wasn't awful, but he just wasn't around a lot.
I think Mikolar had good cop play
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mikolar had like,
in terms of staying under the radar.
yeah, he stayed on the radar. Nobody was like, oh, Mikolar's cop until like night 4. That's not bad.
Yeah,
Definitely not too bad. And
And then
I think the only thing he really messed up was not actually telling Ellison about the
Junko's
spreadsheet.
role.
No, well, that and also that there was a spreadsheet pinned in a conversation that Ellie was invited to.
I think that's just Ellison not reading.
Yeah, I mean, there were pins in the... Man, I don't know.
Anyway,
Ellie
so,
defended his play, but... yeah, Shinori was kind of lurked through. He did his actions as directed. Didn't mess up anything super awfully, but he wasn't around a lot, and he could have been more proactive. But his
He's
actions
minus.
weren't bad. Yeah. And
Um,
then day
gives you-
4, Ice died first. Ice, now I think this was Ice's actual first Mafia game that was
this
in
was his
EIMM.
first real Mafia game.
Yeah, other than EIMM. So
Really count anyway.
Watching it.
hard to give too much slack. He didn't play amazing, but it was literally his first game and he was Mafia.
Yeah, I mean, like, the only really bad thing was Snike vote was...
Yeah, the Snike
Pretty
vote
loud.
was pretty bad. But other than that, no major obviously he's just pretty new, and so, like, not hard, like, wow, you should know better. It's just like, nah, it's one of your first games, and you did alright.
Then we linked GP,
Now you had Green Poet,
who was no
Yeah.
scum since night 2, night 1?
Night 1.
Might be night 1.
heavily suspected. Well, Prims thought she was scum, but then he thought JB was scum instead, for a while because he thought that his role, basically Prims called himself on, like, I wish I didn't, trust, GP on her play rather than, or he didn't trust JB because of his role rather than his play. And he thought there was no way those two roles were on the same team, and that JB was more like Mafia.
I thought this role was in like a pseudo 1v1 with 2 different town roles, so it made more sense for it to be GP. Like, Gatekeeper for saving and Safeguard for like action blocking, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair, but
Anyway,
she played... No, I think she had some confusing plays, but she also had some pretty good ones, like with...
yeah, go on.
She got, like, some of the... she had some confusing stuff. Mostly I was confused with her plans after she died, which is also kind of part of Junko's plans. And also, I don't know, I don't think that killing you is the right move for the Mafia
It wasn't.
to win the game. And
one thing I'll say about GP was that she had the exact same problem as the town with leaking information, because she said Ice was Mafia, and that was like, I knew that because he was just playing like me in SSBU, like.
yeah.
But then she also said that the last scum like didn't know what they claimed. They were like, they got like terrorized by Prims or something into claiming something like that. And then I was like, that's Junko. There's no one else it can be.
Yeah.
So she kind of gave away too much, but in the end, I don't think it would have mattered.
No, probably not too much. I mean, it's too much to you. Then, night 4, then you died. Hey, SB sucks.
Hey.
I played a perfect game, and my scum team lets me down.
Yeah, you ended up working a lot. Well, what's funny is that early on, you were like, so I probably want to try and target Scum at least a little bit. And then you literally never ended up targeting Mafia, and they ended up targeting you instead. Twice.
No, I said, like, I want to be giving my kills to the scum because...
For coordination purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, apparently there were certain things I could have told Junko that wouldn't got me killed, but I thought, like, there was no way he'd kill me because he'd be going into 4-1 and he'd need 2 miss lynches with, like, 3.5 cleared townies.
Yeah, that's why I didn't think it was a very good plan. Like, it was not kind of a not gonna win scenario from there for him.
Yeah.
But definitely killing you was the worst of the...
It was, like,
plans.
guaranteeing loss.
Yeah, Mikolar, we already kind of talked about his play. Did pretty good. Nothing spectacular, but, it was one of his first games, first OC game.
Yeah.
Did good he can. JB, I think JB played pretty good, actually. He had, like,
Yeah.
he was, like, one of the more proactive townies.
I never understood
he-
why people
He
suspected
defended
it.
himself well from the GP.
I didn't either. Oh, I totally skipped Kirsch because of how many the people died on that night.
We talked about him, just like, Snike was the sacrifice, otherwise he did good.
Yeah. The snake winch was, like, not, I don't know, kind of on him, but
Not
also
fantastic.
But other than that, he got some nice catches, and he was one of the more proactive townies as well. That's why I thought about it, because I'm like, Kirsch and JB were probably the most proactive townies outside of, like, the leadership.
Yeah.
I mean, Kirsch had the spreadsheet literally on the night that he died, and that was it. But other than that, he had, like, good suspicions and stuff, and made some decent plays.
Then
Same with
I think,
JB, I say, because he also was like pretty on the ball. He like,
yeah,
and then
JB's
I
only
think
problem
even
was
Prim said like, Prim was like, I trusted GP's role, but even though JP was playing more towny, basically, is
yeah.
what Prim said also.
The only thing JB did wrong was he kind of trusts me a little bit without question too much on Nightfall, but like that didn't end up affecting anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
That's
every
fair.
town he had that problem.
yeah.
must be.
Okay, day 5, Bartosio, who I don't think played bad, but fucking
That was-
Ellie didn't.
I kept
That was
forgetting he
some-
was playing.
Yeah, I
That
don't
lynch
know
was
about-
really bad.
That lynch was so bad, and Ellie,
I'll
Ellie
say
was like,
Junko played it well because it
Yeah,
shouldn't have happened.
Junko should have just got lynched right away, but that lynch was so fucking bad. He was like, LA knew, he said, I know, after the game, like, when I was like, dude, that was mislynch or lose because of your own role.
Yeah, you should explain the whole situation. Like, why did Bart get lynched?
Okay,
Yeah.
Bar got lynched because I announced that it was mislynch or lose, but first of all, this is wrong. If Bartosio's role was Mafia in that scenario, it would have been lynch or lose.
Lynch or lose. because
Not
it's
miss lynch or
another-
lose. If he was Mafia in that scenario. Secondly, Eliason thought like, oh, well, this role could be Mafia. That's one of the only ways it's miss lynch or lose, which was incorrect because his own role was making it miss lynch or lose. And
God.
he said he knew this when I confronted him about it, and that's one of the things that confused me about Eliason's play, who I guess will translate to because no one else died for the rest of the game.
Don't like. Okay, there's two levels to this. If you're going to pretend that you aren't Davig to town leader because you don't trust him, like maybe not trusting Prince with Davig at first was smart enough, I guess, in case you needed to keep it for late game. But don't say that you told them, because if guys
Yeah,
did not have
me
the
and
report,
SB
we
were
would have
talking
lynched you.
about this.
I was getting I was trying to make a power play to lynch you and then realized I couldn't because Junko didn't claim the Vig.
Yeah.
Like,
Eliason's play, like, I mean, obviously Town ended up winning and stuff, but I think his play was really erratic and confusing, and also he didn't explain any of it to me during the game, which made it even more confusing.
It was super hard to follow all his actions across the game. Like when we were trying to piece together what me and SB were trying to piece together, what he claimed to Prinz and Rafa, and like what he's claiming now, and like whether he should be lynched or not. It just was so confusing.
After Night 2, there was basically no reason not to claim to Prim. Or, like, during
Yeah.
Night 2.
leadership, yeah.
Or
I was low-key salty as well because his wrong play worked out when making the right play wouldn't have, so it's just kind of like, okay, so if he claimed it, he would have been day-vigging GP and wasted his Vig, right? So
no, he should have claimed it on day 2, basically.
yeah, that's what I mean. So the Vig would have gone to GP, and then it wouldn't be there to kill Ice. So
No, Marth was
Kind of
tracked
understand.
Marth was tracked Night 1. It would have been on Marth earlier.
yeah, okay.
Prim wasn't sure on GP yet, so it would have been Marth and Walrein dead
Yeah,
day 2, and that would have made the game so much easier for the town.
I think like until
That was
Warren
also
first
partly
came-
happened because the town turbo lynched, I think, way too fast for day 2.
and-
I get that they didn't want the Warren to get
contact.
too much in contact, but I think
Yeah.
that the upside to at least finding out their night results to everyone else.
That was on me, I think. I wanted the day over fast.
Yeah. I guess so then. Good on you then. I didn't see most of this part.
Then
That
who else
leaves-
was left? LG.
LG, you played alright. You figured out your role more as the game went on.
You played Townie, but Town couldn't fucking work out your role PM.
Yeah, I mean, I was like just happy that I didn't fucking die really early, and I managed to convince them that I was not scum. That would have been just a huge waste and really bad if I
Yeah.
died that early.
You played better as the game went on. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was worried I was gonna get mislynched in like some dumb Lilo or something because I knew it was Junko, but like I was trying to convince Ellie that it was too.
Yeah. Junko, had some confusing plays. As I said, killing SB was almost definitely the wrong move. But he did have some clever stuff like not getting lynched day 5. Well, that was also partly on just Eli's ship. Like, oh, it must be that guy. And then...
Yeah. And then...
Oh, Ellison's Vengeful, also I have to talk about this. Ellison's Vengeful was on Bartosio for most of the game. And... I don't know, man. It was just... The thing was, like, it actually would have been... Instead of killing you on N4, if he killed Ellison, who he was thinking about killing later, the thing was the Mafia thought he might be straight up bomb, which, first of all,
It's fucking dumb.
please give me more credit than straight up bomb. Holy shit.
It's not 2013 anymore, guys.
But secondly, I don't know. That would just... If he did it, he actually... I think an Anatown might have won.
We would have won. Because I would have been alive, and they wouldn't
have
have
had more kills, and you would have been alive.
Kills.
I think I would have won because I would have got my triple.
You got your
Gaius
commute, right, on night 5?
Yeah, I had the commute, and then
You
I had
would
the
have had
triple
to
hook.
lynch you.
Actually, I think that might be a misnomer. I think Ellison might have switched it a little before then. I'm checking the exact timing. Night 3. Nope, he switched. Oh no, he wasn't on Bartosio for most of the game. I messed up. He switched to Bartosio after his Ice Age. He was on Lord Gaius for most of the game. Which is hard.
That's it.
Yeah. So, no, okay, so this is the full order of how he did it. Day 1, Lord Gaius. He did not switch until November 19th, which I think was literally just before he sought Ice Age. And he's like, if I somehow die, I want Ice to die anyway. Which didn't happen. Then he switched to Bartosio on day 4. On night 4, he switched to JB. And then, then he corrected himself. He said, never mind. And he switched it back to Bartosio. I didn't get that, but he had unlimited switches per... There was no limit to how many switch. Night 5, he turned it off, which was the correct play. And then, well, then he turned it on to Junko, who... Definitely Junko's biggest... He, like, basically cornered himself on night 5. That was definitely Junko's another, like, blunder, but... Other than that...
that was a tricky situation to get out of.
Yeah, that was basically just he wasn't going to win in that situation anyway. It just kind of accelerated things.
Yeah.
Is that everyone?
Zion and Green Caps didn't play the game. Okay, we don't have to say anything about it.
Yeah, the roll was so bad I legitimately did not notice that Green Caps wasn't in the game for like 5 days. five
I
real
don't think
time
we
days.
noticed this either.
Yeah, I don't think anyone noticed it, and then I was like... And then I got Zio, and he talked to people during, like, the 30-minute real-time day 5 and shit.
Yep.
Actually, I don't think he even did anything on day 5 because it was over too fast, but that was not necessarily his fault.
Good effort.
He tried.
Yeah, well, I literally... Nothing to say about that. I literally just got him because I didn't want Town to...
Yeah.
That would just be
because
bullshit
of
if
that.
Town lost because someone
a mod
needed a
kill,
sub.
that'd be stupid.
Yeah, that would just be stupid.
I think
looking at my logs with
basically
Zio, he did ask like what he should be doing and stuff, so he was
Yeah.
so he did what he needed to.
Yeah, he did exactly what he needed to do in that scenario, basically. And, he played fine. He wasn't in the game exactly very long. I think he was in the game for, like less
3
than one
hours
real-time day.
Yeah.
But that's not his fault at all. He just did what he needed to do, and Town won.
In
There you
summary,
go.
I should have won.
Agree.
So, that's what happened in that game. There's my post-game with all the players, all the roles talked about, decent amount. That was a good time. Nice talking with you guys. And I think that's all I have to say about it, personally. Anyone else have some closing comments?
I'd say don't make more ICP Funsmiths. I've been the role twice, and it's, like, so fucking hard to do anything with. Like, as the player.
Fair enough.
It didn't seem, like, viable.
LG, any closing comments?
Question asker's broken.
Alright, there we go. Both people complaining about their roles. My job is done.
Yeah,
Successful game,
my
in my
roll
opinion.
sucked too, by the way.
Yeah,
I'd like to complain.
I can't believe you had a hidden player to this game.
Hidden
Yeah, I know.
non-survivor. Hidden non-survivor had to die to win.
That was
Difficult rule.
interesting.
I think he should have contacted Junko. You could have worked something out.
Yeah, I could have claimed Wolf and he'd shoot me.
Yeah. That would have been great. We could have played.
The no hidden players rule.
Yeah, but does anyone actually read the rules?
Read what?
Not BBM. And also not Ellison, because he tried to self-target, which he was like,
Wait, he tried to self-target with his Vig?
well, that's when he was idling. He was like, I'm self-targeting. I'm like, no, you can't even do that. You have to idle. You have to send idle.
It
Fuck
would have
you.
been so funny if that got him killed because, like, a duck protects him for a single kill. And he kills himself.
No, it only worked when he actually died.
Oh.
And also, all protection just protected against all kills.
Yeah, but you never know that when you're making the play, you know?
That's true. That's not necessarily always true. It usually is. I mean, sometimes docs only stop like one kill or whatever, if like SK and Mafia team up on some guy and then they're fucked. But if you got given a BPV and the no item game. Oh, that was also one thing I have to say. One thing I have to say was people got a little confused about your Night 1 ability that you ended up using, the first one. People were like, I thought there were no items in this game. It's like, it's not an item. And then Xeonth asked, like, what the hell? What? Xeonth asked as soon as he subbed in, so what is this thing? It's like, it doesn't matter. It was 5 nights ago. I was not... That's one more thing. I was not... I had to correct a couple role PMs due to basically my shitty wording. I wrote them kind of all in a row.
Yeah,
and
I
did some of them a little bit. I did some of them a little. Yeah, yours was written really badly, and then I fixed the wording on. I'm trying to remember which role I had to fix the phrasing on.
I was quite impressed that you sent me my role PM in fluent Spanish.
Yeah, same. Especially because I don't know any Spanish. Oh,
Definitely.
I had to clarify to Kirsch that his role worked. I didn't actually edit it. I just told him that it went in the specific order. It was of the Tracker Watcher Doctor. And then other than that, I don't think I had to make clarifications other than those two. But
Yeah, Mafia games.
alright, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about it. And see you guys.
See ya.
Later.